This week we read Lumberjack Werebear by T.S. Joyce. Painter Brooke Bell is running from her past and hoping that a few weeks in a quaint country cabin will bring her artistic muse back from the brink. But when she lands smack dab in the middle of Ashland Mobile Park, she's sure that there's been a mistake. Not only has her mentor rented her a dilapidated mobile home in the middle of nowhere, but the trailer park is filled with big, burly, growly, flirty, sexy as hell lumberjacks. And one in particular is making her think that maybe she's landed right where she needs to be. Tegan James has a lot on his shoulders. As second in a wood-cutting crew of bear shifters, he's got all he can handle keeping his people from tearing each other apart on the job site. But when the beautiful and terribly human Brooke Bell lands on his doorstep, all honest and vulnerable and pulling at his animal's protective instincts, he has to decide whether to boot her out of the park to protect his heart or take a risk and save her muse. Every bear shifter knows finding a mate can destroy a dominant man like him. But as Brooke shows Tegan just how strong she can be, he's second guessing everything, including his vow to never fall for a woman. Did I borrow that?
I was with Selena.
I would still be treating her better than you. Better than you.
Help us. That's so funny every time. Welcome, guys, by the way.
What's that? New group chat invite. What? That was weird. Fuck you, Microsoft Chat. I don't want you. You can go fuck yourself.
Selena.
Yeah, because I would still be treating her better than you. Better than you.
If anyone wants to know what's been stuck in our fucking head.
It's honestly, it's 75% Benny and 25% bitch. I just bought a brand new car. Hose me down at the trailer park.
And coincidentally, that fits our theme for this week.
Yes, because this
Did
week.
we know we were going to go to a trailer park this week?
No, but
Probably
we
would have
did.
if I read the description.
Yeah. This week we read Lumberjack Werebear by T.S. Joyce. And it is a lumberjack shifter romance that, yeah, takes place at a trailer park, which is fine, but maybe not as the central theme of the book. The trailer park was an entire character in this book. I may not have read the whole thing initially. I'm just pointing that out there. Just
I have to say, I feel like the description is like half the length of the book. And honestly, if I read the description, that's all I needed.
honestly, now that we've read it, yeah.
And to celebrate our ending of Lumbersnack April,
We're lumbersnacking again.
we are lumbersnacking again, and I am dressed like a lumbersnack in my own mind.
I came from work, so no, I'm not.
I didn't work today. It's my day off.
I guess I
For
could
those-
have, but I can only wear jeans one day a week, so. The heck, more group chat. What is this shit?
I'm not wearing jeans.
Whoa. I'm getting all kinds of spam chat on Teams. I don't even have Teams.
And this is not like the group chat that's all over TikTok that has also been in our brains.
Yeah. Joey's
The
hooked
fact
now,
that it's
too.
also Justin and Haley is hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
I need to stop.
Saw you on the TikTok. Saw you on the Insta. Benny Blanco.
That song is a bop.
Yeah. I mean,
We'll get started here in a
fantastic.
moment. Don't worry about it. I'm just shoveling food in my face hole. But I need you all to understand something, okay? For once, I am not bringing the unhinged book into this relationship. And I mean, I should have known what we were getting into when literally Ariel could not explain to me the title of this book without laughing hysterically the entire time that she was trying to explain this to me.
Okay, listen. We needed an unhinged book, and our theme was Lumberjack. There wasn't a ton to choose from. And when I found Shifter, I was like, sold. I should have investigated a little bit more. But,
I also didn't understand half the shit that happened in this book.
no idea. There were several
So,
moments where I was like, thank goodness it's not my timeline that I have to explain.
yeah, instead she gave it to me, and I had to figure out how I was going to work my way through this. And not a single time in this entire book did I know where it was going,
Not, not once.
but I know where it starts.
Do you? Because
It starts with Brooke Bell
when I just read that
screeching.
in the thing, I was like, oh, she has another name besides just, I don't know if I even remembered her first name.
And she is screeching to a stop in front of Ashland Mobile Park. And she is confused, and I am confused because her mentor, Meredith, described this rustic oasis that she was going to be spending the next 3 weeks at as if it was like this quaint Victorian cottage near Saratoga, not a trailer park. And she is concerned because she's like, this is fucking weird. I would also be very concerned if this happens to me. She even double checked the address. But no, this is correct. This is exactly who she needs to be.
Do
And
you want to get away? Do you want a special place where you can just put all your worries on a shelf and just relax the days away? Come on down to the trailer park. Hose meet down at the trailer park.
it's going to be a whole lot of that,
Yippee!
guys.
Yeah, yippee!
Ariel's going to be doing that a lot. And listen, she really would love to turn back, but she barely survived the winding roads to get her to where she is. And now it's just too dark. So she heads towards the office to
Too
really
dark to
figure out.
see.
Mm-hmm. She heads
Too
to the
dark.
office
Too
to
dark.
figure out what the fuck is going on. And when she gets there, she waits and doesn't know where anybody actually is since no one is around. Like, what the fuck is she supposed to do? And then all of a sudden, a deep voice says, "Are you lost?" And she jumps and says, "Oh my God, you scared me."
Well, because she tried the main office of the trailer park, but
Yep.
like it's clearly after hours.
Yeah. And this tall man says, "I asked if you were lost." Bitch, I heard what you said.
And he comes out of the office. Like she was
Mhm.
knocking on the door. If you wanted to help, why didn't you just answer the door?
Clearly, because she's a woman, as we will get into. Brooke says, "Well, hopefully you can help me figure out if I've made a wrong turn somewhere. This is the address I'm looking for." And he goes, "Listen, if you're looking for a vacation home, you rented the wrong one. He introduces himself as Bruiser, and she goes, Bruiser, wow, your parents thought about it, and the name they came up for their child was Bruiser. And he goes, you're a little bit judgy. And since you're so curious, no, they named me Horace, which got me taunted as a kid. And when I grew up big enough to beat the shit out of my bullies, that's when I got the name Bruiser. Bitch, you don't insult a man's name when you first meet them. What the fuck is wrong with you? A lot, as it turns out. He tells her to wait there, and he's going to get someone who can help her. And he calls for Connor. When she introduces herself, saying that a friend of hers had rented a house for her, Connor says, holy shit, you weren't supposed to show, you showed up. You're early. You're not supposed to be here until next week. Hypothetically, if you showed up, which I never thought you would actually do, because this is not the place for a vacation. Bruiser says to Connor, you know the rules. We aren't entertaining strangers, and especially not judgy city people. And honestly, that is the nice version of what he said, because I am not going to say how he said it because my brain broke reading it. Because it sounded as if someone took a stereotype of someone who lives in a trailer park and used that for their language.
And wanted to make something, for lack of a better word, romantic out of it. Like, you obviously had some preconceived notions that weren't positive or pleasant, but then you wanted to try to put a spin on it. It was weird. Wild, wild times.
Yeah, this is a whole wild ass ride, guys. Connor
Wild.
said that Meredith sent her. And then he heads over to the office where she is standing. And Connor asks if she's got a boyfriend back home. And she says, that is none of your business, which, facts, it is not any of his goddamn business. And Connor says, well, I'm not asking for me. Well, not only for me. And Brooke says, Bruiser is not my type. And he says, fair enough.
I thought this was going to get like whole gangbang for a
I
hot
did
second.
too, and it
I was
didn't.
concerned. And then I was like, okay, well, maybe that's the
I
only thing that
think
could save this. And
I
then I was
think
like,
the entire time I read this book, I thought maybe it was gonna go that way, and then it didn't.
there were so many times. There were so many
Like,
times.
I don't understand. I don't understand, bitch. I don't understand. Anyways, Brooke says Bruiser's not my type, and he says fair enough, and tosses her the keys, and she says, no, thank you. I should really be going. Meredith made some sort of mistake. I
Bye-bye.
don't belong here. Connor says, you definitely don't, but unless you want to go back down the roads in the dark, I suggest you make yourself cozy. So that's what she's going to do. I guess in this dilapidated fucking trailer. But at least the trailer was in better shape on the inside than it looked like on the outside. And then out of nowhere, like there's a fucking mouse came flying out. And honestly, like again, no point from point A to point B did I understand anything going on in this book. But I understood the mouse. Anyways, the mouse scared the ever loving fuck out of her. And she starts like screaming and heading out the front door. And a man holding a hat, like a yellow hard hat, runs right into her and she screams again. And the man asks her, what's wrong? And she goes, it's in my hair. It's in my hair. It's a mouse. And he goes, I thought you were dying. I personally would have died right then and there of straight up fucking embarrassment. If this man was fucking judging me, but anyways, something between them sparks,
They
blah,
were
blah,
so
blah.
judgy and so instant judgy.
Yeah. But like sparks fly between them and she forgot about this mouse and she's looking over at this really hot man. And then a crowd apparently gathers outside. And Bruiser says, looks like she's claimed, boys. Tegan's already having his way with her because when they ran into each other, they were like connected at the hip. Like literally nothing like sexual or anything. And he like realized it's dumb. I don't know what to tell you. And he asks who she is, and she says, I'm Brooke Bell, and there's a giant mouse in there, or a rat, or a ferret. I don't know. It's big. And he says, I don't give a shit. What are you doing in my bunkhouse? And she says, no, I rented this and I was under the assumption that my mentor had rented a cottage retreat for me, and then I came here, and this is not what I expected.
This was so confusing because I was like, at first I was like, okay, did somehow his house get rented? And like, but then no, he had his own house. But then he's not the one who's in charge of the whole. It was weird. It was odd.
You want to
Odd
try to make
phrasing
sense?
of words. Yeah. I didn't understand. I was like, I don't know why you chose to word it like that because none of that worked.
Tegan tells her, "You can't stay here." And she goes, "Yeah, I get that, but I can't leave in the dark." Tegan asks her, "What did Connor say to her?" And she goes, "That is literally none of your business." And he insists to her that she gets to stay for one night, and he does not want her talking to Connor. Okay, excuse me, sir. First of all, you don't own me.
You don't own me.
Apparently, she's owned. After she gets in the, goes into the trailer and stays in the trailer,
She's a
Connor
human
asks,
and a woman.
well, those two things can't be true at the same time, apparently.
No, they are. That makes it equally bad. That's like it's double bad.
I'm in this real world.
Oh, that's true
We
too.
aren't we aren't humans, right? We're
Hmm.
just women. Connor asks Tegan if she's staying, and he says she is not staying. She's not a plaything. And Kellen says, well, I mean, we could take care of her. And Tegan says, she is not Snow White, and we are not the Seven Dwarfs. She does not belong
It
here.
felt like that was kind
No,
of the theme for a second. I was like,
right? No woman does.
and it would have made sense if they were saying that because that was going to be where that was
The case?
heading. Yeah.
No, we don't get that.
No. That could have possibly redeemed things, but no.
Like a big, like reverse harem book. Yeah. Instead, no, we get this. Brooke, on the other hand, is pissed because there are no bars on her phone, and every single text that she has sent to Meredith has failed. And now she can't even make a call. Well, duh, bitch, you don't have any bars. None of those things are going to work. Even I know that. I have bars, and sometimes that doesn't even work for me. I'm sorry.
Just the constant. She don't have bars. I have bars. She don't have bars. Like, so it was just. I don't know why that was
Benny
just killing me
Blanco's got
inside.
bars.
Benny Blanco, you don't have no bars. Do you have them on the TikTok? Your bars on the Insta. But if he had bars, he would treat them better than you. Better than you.
I would apologize to our audience, but I'm not sorry. You knew what
And
you got
not
when
in
you
the
signed up for this.
sorry, I'm not sorry. No, that's not the right song. Not in the oh, I was gonna Justin Bieber sorry it, and then my brain just went totally in a totally different direction. I just forgot the Justin Bieber sorry song. Never mind. Whatever.
But it's too late now to say sorry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because it's now too late to say sorry.
She spits all the food out of her mouth.
Or to sing sorry. It's now too late to sing sorry.
It is.
The cheese was just attached.
God, this is a fucking hot mess.
Mm.
So she's gonna go searching for some form of service, and as she makes her way behind the trailer, Tegan is there, and he asks her what she's doing, and she says that it's none of your business. But I am gonna go search for signal. I need to make a phone call to my mentor, and he
It's
asks
none of your
her,
business. Let me tell you exactly what I'm doing.
yeah, he asks her if she's hungry because clearly her stomach is growling, and he says, "I will show you the best place to get reception after you eat." And she says, "I'm not following you into the woods." And he goes, "Why not?" Okay, sir. And she says, like, because I
Because
don't trust you.
here's
I'm
the
not
thing.
stupid. I've watched Deliverance.
We know that he's the bear. But she doesn't know that. And he doesn't know that she would, in theory, only choose the bear. So she's not supposed to go in the woods except with the bear, but he doesn't She doesn't know he's the bear. So, that's not how it works. Put all the words that are supposed to be there to make that make sense. Boom. In your ear holes. We are such a hot mess.
I just hit
How'd
my
that one
head.
feel? Yeah.
Didn't feel great. Anyways.
Benny Blanco.
He insists that she is not that he is not a danger to her, and he is sorry that if he hurt her feelings earlier. He's just not used to
Too late
talking to
now to say
women.
sorry.
I'm trying so hard to get through this book.
So sorry. I really am.
You're
I'm
not.
actually really sorry. Like, I'm actually sorry. I wish I could make it stop.
Mm. So he asks her why she's really there, and Brooke says, "I lost my way. I needed a break from my life. I was afraid I'd never be able to find the good parts of myself again if I didn't take a break from everything I knew." So this is probably the most sentimental this book ever gets, and there's another word for actually that, and I don't know what I'm actually meant to say, but my brain, it's the only like piece of like not ridiculousness throughout this entire book was that little tiny part, in my opinion. Anyways, Tegan then runs his hands along the bandage of her neck and asks what happened, and Brooke just says, "That is part of the reason I lost my way. I need to call Meredith." And Tegan says, Meredith? And she goes, "Yeah, my mentor. She's the one who rented your bunkhouse." It turns out, I'm just going to tell you now because they tell her in a little bit too. Meredith is actually his mom. Surprise! And he says, "Whatever happened to you, your mentor was wrong. It cannot be fixed here. You cannot be fixed here." She says, "I know." And then another tall man comes out and says, "You, girl, you'll sit here and eat with us. We'll feed you." This is Kellen, by the way. I actually did like Kellen. He seemed to be the only one with a level head on his shoulders. They introduce all the other men at different points in this story, and honestly, there's too
The only one
many.
that wasn't completely psychotic at all times.
Yeah, he just talked like a caveman for like 5 seconds, which was wild. There's a lot of men in this book, and I didn't care about them enough to remember all their names, so I didn't mention them.
Not
So
like
there
Benny
are,
Benny Blanco.
there's not a Benny Blanco in this.
Right.
There are different points in the story where they mention mate and almost slip up that they're bears, but they don't. And every time she questions it, they try to change the subject so that they don't actually tell her that they are bears. They talk to her about her art and asks
She's
her
dumb
what
as
she paints.
fuck.
She is dumb. She is dumb. They ask about her art and asks her what she paints, and then she asks them what they do, and they tell her that they are lumberjacks and that there are multiple crews on the mountains and they all do different things. Connor teases her, and so there's like a little bit of grumbling happening on from Tegan. And Connor says, I said I saw her first. I won't fucking say it again." And Tegan stands up and Kellen,
I saw her first, and I won't say it again. I saw her first.
yeah. Kellen tries to end this, but Connor says, "I challenge you for her, and I also challenge you for second." Basically, in their pack, you have the leader, and then you have second in command. And Connor is challenging because he wants Brooke, and he also apparently wants to be second. Kellen
What a
gets
bunch of
Brooke.
hotheads.
I know.
It
Kellen
should
gets
also
Brooke.
be noted. Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, no, no,
It
you're fine.
should it should also be noted that there aren't many older people in this pack because they're all full of hotheads and all they do is fight each other off to the death because they're idiots.
Yeah. Kellen gets Brooke right the fuck out of there. And Kellen looks over at her and says, "I want you to stay. I like you. And we never have soft things around here. I want to be able to take care of you and fix your paintings, but you don't want Connor." And Tegan, I don't know, Tegan. And Tegan isn't ready for a mate, so it's best you leave first light in the morning. And she goes, okay, I will. Then at night, Brooke has a nightmare about the incident that gave her the cut on her neck. Basically, she got mugged. And the guy sliced her neck and told her he wasn't going to kill her. He was just going to mark her. And when she wakes up, Tegan is there to comfort her and he reassures her and tells her that no one's going to hurt you. And then she goes back to sleep. Kind of, but not really. When she opens her eyes up again, Kellen is crouching near her ankles. Dennison and the rest of the crew, except for Connor, are just inside the doorway, apparently. They all thought that she was being hurt. And as they were leaving, they all, one by one, touch her. And it's weird. But Tegan lets her know that, like, none of them would have been able to sleep if they didn't reassure themselves that she was okay. He also tells Brooke that they should talk about what happened to her. Brooke says that she does not want to. And Tegan tells her, you will, or that nightmare will follow you to the grave. And I personally would say, then it will follow me to the grave because no, thank you. I don't want to talk about this. Please don't
But and
make
not
me.
only that, but like, who the fuck are you to force it?
Ugh, me, almost alpha, me, man, rah, you mate. I don't fucking know. So, but she does explain the whole story of her getting mugged, and this man had stopped her one night before asking for a light. She didn't have anything, and then when he wanted her purse the second time, she only had a small one. It was on her wrist, and she couldn't get the wrist strap off, and he lost his shit and ended up slicing her neck. After that night, she is not able to paint anymore, and every time she tries, it just comes out dark and different and unsellable. So she needed a place to go to regain herself. Tegan tells her to put on her jacket because he is going to take her someplace special that is very also special to him. And it's only fair because, like, she told him a secret. So, like, he's going to show her a secret and not that secret, not the bear secret. Um,
I've got a secret. Can you keep it?
well, someone dies. So, sorry.
No, you can't keep this.
But so he's going to take her to a place where she can see a lot of stars. So, by the way, she used to paint stars. She was a very big starry night person. And when they're on the way up, she just gets taken by the fireflies. And he looks at her and they just like have a moment. And he goes, you want me to kiss you, don't you? And she goes, yes. And Tegan says, you're too good for this place. You shouldn't be wanting things like that. You shouldn't want to kiss a man. Try saving your affection for someone who returns it. Bitch, what?
The
Okay.
mental whiplash.
And he goes, you saw the trail that we used to come up here, right? And she goes, yeah. He goes, okay, that will lead you
And she
right
was
back to the
so
park.
dumb that she was even like, what did I do wrong?
Bitch,
Like,
literally nothing. So he's like, I'm gonna go back and you can stay here, but peace the fuck out, bitch. And I'm like, bro, what? You're gonna leave her in these woods? So she turns around and she sees the night sky, and looking at the stars, she just bursts into tears and falls to her knees. And then, of course, another 180. Tegan is back and says, I think you should stay. He doesn't hate her, but he just can't get involved with her like that. He doesn't do one night stands. Who the fuck said she wanted a one night stand? But okay. And that he was about to leave, but then he saw her cry. And like that was the same thing that happened to him the first time he saw this. And it was just like that whole moment just touched her. And like he doesn't know how to fix what's broken with her paintings, but he has a feeling that maybe this place might be a start. So all of this is happening quickly, and I understand that this is a novella and it's really short, but holy fucking shit. Do they go from like please like I'm literally going to leave
zero
you
to
on this
hero, just
mountain.
like that.
I'm going to leave you on this fucking mountain because you can't kiss me to okay. Yeah. Great. The next morning, Tegan is looking for Brooke because her car is not at the trailer. Turns out, by the way, she just fucking went grocery shopping. Jesus fucking Christ. But he wanted to make sure, like, whatever. So he goes through
She
her
didn't
trailer.
desert him.
Right. So he goes through her trailer and he found some of her paintings that she recently did of the man who did the thing to her to send her there, and it makes him so fucking angry. And Kellen does stop him and says, you can't tear up her home. She feels safe here and she won't if she sees an animal ripped up her place. He tries to calm himself down and
Fucking
he just
wild.
thinks that his mate is fierce and stronger than anyone he'd ever met, and she is getting up every day trying to fight her fear and heal her scars. And then he goes, fuck, because he thinks of her as his mate. And then he goes off because he thinks, like, he's just not, yeah. He ends up leaving and heads to get some reception, and he calls his mom. And his mom answers the phone and says, I was wondering when you were going to call. And Tegan asks her why she sent her there. And his mother just says, because you need each other. But I just know that
Who
I've
the fuck
watched
does
her,
she think she is?
his mom.
Creep.
Yep. I just know that I've watched her for years, seen her grow up as an artist, and everything she does compliments who you are.
Creep.
I know fucking shit, right? Tegan says, but the man who hurt her, and she says, you don't have to worry about him. I knew he was getting out, but couldn't make a move until Brooke was out of the city and away from it all. His death couldn't blow back on her. You understand? So the mom is very protective. She's a big mama bear. He tells his mom about the new
Literally.
paintings. Yeah, quite literally. He tells his mom about the new paintings, and his mom is actually really happy about this because she hasn't been able to paint in 3 months. And while, yes, this is dark, at least she is painting, but tells him, do not let all of this stuff ruin her creativity. And Tegan is thinking, like, why? Brooke's happiness is like now on his shoulders. And what if he screws this up? And what if she ends up hating him because of it? And what if he pushes too hard? Brooke, on the other hand, is just out and about shopping at the fucking store. Like, that's all she's doing. And she ends up running into Tegan. He tells her that he saw the paintings from
Running
this.
into him.
Yeah, no, he went there on purpose. Uh, he saw the paintings from this morning and she's pissed because he went through her stuff. And I would also be pissed that he went through my stuff. And he says, listen, before you get on me, bitch, shut the fuck up, first of all. I am not like, I don't say the right thing most of the time. I just wanted to say that I am proud of you. And I know it cost you a lot to start painting again. I'm proud of you for facing your demons. And she asks him if he thinks that she's crazy. Bitch, you are definitely crazy, but this is not the reason you're crazy. And he goes, no, I think you're hurt. And I think that asshole deserves to be painted like you did. She tells him that it means a lot that he says that. Okay. She brushes off some dry mud off of his shirt, toot toot, and he picks up her hand and puts a light kiss across her knuckles. And he says, we are friends. Touch me like that again, and I will want more. Sir,
Pick a fucking lane.
there's not a lane. There's 7 lanes, and they all go in different directions. Then he leaves, and she gets back to the trailer park, and everyone's there. Dennison is apparently trying to ski off the back. Like, are they like pulling them around on skis? It's not. I just. Yeah. And she says that they're lucky none of them are seriously hurt. And they almost again let it slip about the bear thing, about like it doesn't matter if they get hurt, but whatever. But they save it. Brighton, one of the other dudes, makes a hot tub out of the bed of a truck. Yep. He puts a tarp in the bed of a truck and tries to make. I just. Again, they took all of the stereotypes and fucking ran with it. And they're just gonna all go in there, which is absolutely insane. And then Kellen props up one of her paintings of the dude's face on the side of Brighton's mobile home, and an old board of plywood, and they tell her that now it's a dartboard to dart the shit out of the douche wagon, and they're all gonna have a turn. And that is what they all do. And
This
she
whole
just thinks
book
to
was a fever
herself,
dream.
she just thinks to herself, if someone had told her a week ago that she would be sitting in a hillbilly hot tub with a bunch of sexy shirtless lumberjacks th throwing darts at one of her paintings, she would have told them that they were crazy. Bitch, you are still crazy. Later on that night, they're all sitting around a fire, and all Brooke can think about is she kind of just wants to go and see the sky again. And Tegan can basically read her mind and asks if she wants to go up there, and she says yes. And then is asks him if he will go with her. So that's what they're going to do. But before they leave, Connor says, "You know the rules. I challenged you. You can't touch her until Jed gets back." Brooke asks Tegan what Connor means by calling him second because he's challenging her for her and for the second thing. And he says, nothing you have to worry about. But as they make their way up, he goes, you know what? You're right. You told me everything, and I haven't shared much with you. It's not fair. And this is when she learns that Meredith is his mom. And Brooke opens up about the fact that her parents suck. And then he just finally tells her why he's called second. It's just because that's what he is to their crew. He is second in command, and Jed is first. And he says that neither Connor nor him can touch her until the challenge is through, and that challenge can't happen without Jed present. But she asks him,
Heaven
what if
forbid
she,
she choose who she
right?
wants to.
But she asks what would happen if she touches him. This bitch is playing with fire. And he says that if you touch me, the rules go out the window for me. And so she starts to touch him. And this part was funny. She goes, touch, touch. It
I was like,
reminds
are you
me
fucking
of the
kidding
when
me?
you're a kid and you're like,
Yeah.
I'm not touching you kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they kiss and he starts rocking up against her and she ends up like getting really close to coming. And then he opens up the button of her jeans and puts his hand in her pants to cup her and says that he wants to feel her. And she comes and she kisses him and tells him that she's on birth control. Okay. And Tegan says it's not a good idea for me to bond to you any more than I already have, which also the bond thing freaks her out. She's like, what the fuck's that all about? And to make sure she really, really wants this and wants him because she says, duh, because she also wants to be able to take care of him. And then they fuck against a tree. Like, okay. And then they head back down. When Brooke wakes up the next day, Tegan's not there. And she's thinking she can hear some like metal clinking going on outside. Well, Tegan replaced her brake pads. And to her, this is the sweetest thing that anyone has ever done for her. And he goes, that is sad. Which is so funny. It is sad. I mean, come on. And then she hugs him. He tells her that she is going to get him into trouble because Connor is going to maim him. She insists that Connor can get over it. Dennison comes by and says, hey, Trouble, I should have known you were going to come in here and stir things up. And she goes, I like the name Trouble more than Princess. And Hayden says, what about Trailer Park Princess? And she goes, no. And then she asks if she can go to the job site with them. They try
Hose
to
me
insist.
down at the trailer park.
Yeah. Uh, They try to insist to her that it is not safe, but she insists to go and that she will make lunch. So she goes upstairs, starts putting the bacon in the skillet to make some BLTs, and gets dressed. And by the time Tegan comes through the front door, she realizes why she could not, should not, not could not, should not cook bacon in a trailer kitchen. But
Should not, could not in a what's
should not,
Dr.
could
Seuss?
not. Yeah. I felt like I was reading a Dr.
On a
Seuss book at some
bus?
points.
Should not, could not. With a mouse? Should not, could not in a house?
Should not, would not with a bear.
Should not, could not. I don't care.
She asks him if he's already had breakfast, and he says, I have, but I'm still hungry. But I am hungry for you. And he's going to eat her out. After he eats her out, she realizes that she loves him. Bitch, it could not have been that good.
It wasn't.
She
I read
observes
it. It wasn't.
she observes everyone on the job site for the next few hours and she realizes that Tegan seems to be the boss up there. No shit, that's what he said.
He told
But
you
he
that.
also yeah, but he also works with the crew. Connor comes up next to her and scares her a little bit. He does apologize and says, "I didn't mean to." But oh, he asks if he could show her around the landing while they hook up the next bunch of logs. But he's also hitting on her and touching her in ways that she is not liking or reciprocating, and she tells him to stop and that she is with Tegan. And Connor says he has no claim to you. That's not how this works up here. Tegan has to abide by the rules just like the rest of us. You aren't with him. You aren't with anyone. I have just as much right to you as he does. And then this honestly sends her into a freak out because then she starts having flashbacks and she ends up getting herself hurt. And this gets Tegan super pissed. And Tegan says, fuck the rules. Brooke is trying to calm them both down and says, it's my fault. I felt cornered and panicked. Please don't fight. Connor is like pissed and he's like, fuck the rules. Those rules are in place to keep us safe. Tegan says, no, this rule is an old timer rule and it's archaic and doesn't fit anymore. And then an unfamiliar man asks, oh, so the claiming rules are archaic. Turns out, by the way, this is stupid Jed. And Tegan says, choosing a woman shouldn't be on the man and she should have a say. No shit. It took this whole book for someone to say it.
I just also want to point out that none of these men have a woman. So maybe that should be just the
The key.
shining beacon moment in
Yeah.
their life that
Yeah. Yeah.
maybe you should be figuring that out of why that's the
Yep.
case.
Jed says choosing a woman, don't you mean choosing a mate? First the fuck of all, it's the same goddamn anger.
Mm.
Then Jed looks at Brooke and says, you aren't healing. And she smells like you've taken her. It smells like you've taken a fucking human. And now all these words are coming into Brooke's mind like, what the actual fuck is going on? Connor, by the way, Connor is the one who called Jed to come home early. And then this whole next section is wild because they're going to fight now. And Jed says the first person to turn her gets her. And now it turns into people turning into bears. And Connor chasing after her, and Tegan trying to protect her, and Tegan tells her to run, and she's just chanting bear, 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 which
Where,
was
bear,
so
where, bear?
funny. And Kellen's also trying to protect her and telling her it's a whole fucking mess and a shit show, no fucking shit. And all she can think is Tegan is a bear man or a werebear.
Thinking it's a bear man.
But she that's what she says. But then he played her and strung her along. Bitch, I would be stuck on the bear thing, okay?
And she was for a while.
I mean, yeah, and as if they have a chance, and now she's dangerously driving fast in her car because she's trying to escape the bears chasing after her. And she's thinking to herself, like, she doesn't fucking understand what's going on. I don't understand what's going on.
Nobody
And then
understands what's going on.
everything ends and Tegan ends up catching up to her and then he fucking bites into her to turn her into a bear against her will, by the way. And the pain
Ugh.
is very blinding.
Was there a trigger warning in this book?
There was something, but not for that part. I don't remember what it is. The pain is blinding, and of course he does this against her will. And after everything, Kellen just says, so can we keep her? Like, what the actual fuck? She tells Tegan that she is not okay. And he goes, I didn't know what else to do. And she goes, you could have not bit me. and, and he goes, well, Jed was going to kill you. I broke the rules by fighting Connor instead of killing him to turn you. And oh, by the way, Connor's dead now. because Tegan couldn't kill his it was a whole thing. So this whole situation is insane. And he does explain to her that once a month she does kind of have to shift because she's like, well, how often do I have to do this? And he tells her at least once a month. And he says, but you are asking because you're leaving. And she goes, listen, I came
Duh.
here to I came here to get better. And like if I stay, I won't get better. I won't forgive you and I want to. And he asks when she's leaving and she says today. And he tells her
Yeah,
that he is
now, bitch.
sorry. And I mean, she is heartbroken and she gets all her stuff together, takes one last look at the bedroom, and she's dragging her stuff out. Tegan is nowhere to be found, and Kellen tells her that he just doesn't like goodbyes and he told them not to beg her to stay. She says that she hopes this is not the last time that she sees him, and she starts to pull away, but she realizes that she had to do this. Tegan deserves a strong woman, and perhaps someday she could be that. First of all, no, Tegan should have asked you before he turned you into a bear.
You just turned yourself off.
A bear. A
For
bear,
realsies.
Oreo. A bear.
I know.
Uh,
I
anyways,
So we not choosing the bear? I mean, it brings a whole new.
no, but that it wouldn't happen here. She had a life, and not like some loose ends to rid herself of. 3 months pass, and Tegan not doing well. But he is an alpha now, and it's not because he chose to be responsible for the entire crew. But if he hadn't challenged Jed after what he'd done, Tegan's bear would have shredded his humanity. So the first 2 months after Brooke left, he wanted vengeance. Connor's death
Or
was not
forcing her
enough.
turn and like, dude.
Yeah, but whatever. So he challenged the alpha as soon as he was clear minded enough. Jed lost, and then he was banished. Kellen is now his second, and Kellen is leaning against a tree and tells him that he's going to end up like Jed was, broken because his mate left him to live in town. And he was splitting his time between his crew and his life with her. And the bear like needs to protect, like all the people that the bear in him needs to protect need to be all in one place. And he tells Tegan, like, you could always just bring her back. And Tegan says, you don't understand. She wasn't my mate. Everything got fucked up. You don't understand. You don't understand. Cue the emo music. Where are you?
The angel from my nightmare.
Anyways, so Tegan says, you don't understand. She wasn't my mate. Everything got fucked up before I could ask her. Kellen says, you mean before you could claim her? And he says, she has to claim me back. Now you want equality? Now you want equality. But Kellen even admits that he misses her too. And in Tegan's hand, he has an envelope with no name on the return address. And it's just inviting him to view a star's. It's an art show by Brooke. And it's the address of a studio in a website and a website on the bottom.
God
And he
damn it,
realizes
it's an art show by Brooke.
I stopped caring about like 20% in through this book.
Last
Anyways,
20% took me the fuck out. I was just like,
yeah, he
I can't.
He realizes he has 2 days to get his shit together and get back whatever that means. Brooke is nervous for her show, by the way, but she is worried that Tegan won't come because she's the one who invited him. The bitch says this is reassuring her, and she
This
knows her.
is me.
Sorry, Meredith is like reassuring her that she knows her son, and she knows how he feels about her, and he'll be there, and is telling her to calm down, bitch, shut the fuck up, because
You need
obviously
to
she doesn't.
calm down.
You're being too loud. Meredith honestly just wants her to calm down so the bear doesn't come out. And Tegan does show up, by the way. Woo! She tells Tegan that she's changed a couple times a week and his mom taught her how, and that the nightmares are gone and she only dreams of him. She does not dream of when he turned her, but
I
she
dream of
dreams of his
Jeannie.
face. No, he offers to buy one of her paintings, and if he pays double, will she deliver it to his house in person? And she tells him that she was already coming home to the trailer
I'm
park
coming
princess
home.
is coming home.
I'm coming home.
And he also tells her that Jed has been banished and he is the alpha, so no one will ever hurt her again. Brooke tells him that she's going to work really hard at being the partner that he deserves. Fucking gag me. And then someday he's going to ask her to be her mate. And he
His
asks if
mate.
that means whatever. He's
She's done. She's just done.
he asks if that means she forgives him, and she says, no, it means I never had anything to forgive you
Yeah,
for.
you
You
did, bro.
saved me. I don't need to forgive you. And she is going home today. And that is the end of whatever the fuck we just read.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I just.
Hmm.
So, Ariel, who
Yeah.
is your favorite character?
My favorite character? Well, if I had to choose just one, it would probably be the caveman dude, I guess.
Kellen.
Yeah, that one.
I liked him too. He was my favorite. Who was your least favorite?
Else. Everyone
I
else.
Okay. If we're thinking logically here, Jed,
The mom
um,
for sending her there to
the
begin
mom,
with,
Meredith,
knowing the testosterone rat trap that she was sending that girl into, and she still sent her alone anyways. And on that topic, I just want to say the whole first half of the book, she kept my mentor this, my mentor that. Bitch, we never knew what she was the mentor of.
probably her art,
Yes, but we didn't know that until the end.
I guess. Yeah.
Couldn't she have, right? Like, it could have been something.
This claims it was 95 pages. Definitely not 95 pages, like 80.
I don't
Um,
even know.
so are you ready for your brain to break?
Oh,
Amazon gives us a
God.
4.5 and Goodreads a 4.1.
Out of how many? Like, yeah, I obviously, but I meant the reviews. I meant like,
I lost like 10 brain cells. Okay. Um, there's almost 4,000 reviews on Amazon and almost 6,000 reviews on Goodreads.
is this a different version? I think we might be the problem. I do we just have ridiculous standards?
Someone said it was a cute story.
I need to lie down.
I don't understand. What's your...
I was going with a 2.
I'll go with a 2.
I thought I was being kind of generous. Now I am concerned.
Oh. I just I'm
I I
okay, so a 2, cool, sounds great. Peppers.
I Jesus Christmas. Poblano?
Yeah, okay. Sounds good.
Fabulous.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. I have to remember something. Didn't you, weren't you, was this the book you were nervous about letting me read because you thought they were gonna fuck in their bear shift form?
No.
Oh, there was a book I thought you said we wouldn't read because they fuck while they're bears. Maybe that was a different book.
No, so I wanted you to read. So there's a book that I keep bringing up,
Oh,
the monster book,
oh, right, right, right.
and I
That's
said you'd really like it. I said, but there's this like I don't know 2 pages where they like start like that and then they shift or something. It's
mm,
yeah, it's a so
got you.
I don't
Okay.
know if that 2 pages or I don't even know if it's that long would ruin the whole vibe for you.
Got you. No, I think that this ruined the vibe of bears.
Honestly, I think after this, I think you could do anything.
I honestly thought that I could do anything after the chipmunk bear shifter we read. But somehow that actually was better than this one. Um,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
mm,
What do we rate
so
that?
I don't even fucking remember. Anyways, survivability.
I would probably just die on my own.
I wouldn't have even gone.
Yeah. I mean, true facts.
So, so that's how we're ending our April.
Jesus. I
And
just.
I want you all to know that I blame Ariel.
Well, you're
That
picking the
was
next. You're picking the next one, the
that
next
was
unhinged one,
Lumbersnack April, guys. Next month is May.
and we're doing Hitmen. It's gonna
Yes.
be May.
And it is not what we did last year where I did everything because I can't do that again. No, no. I love you. Not that much anymore. My love for you kind of dwindled a little bit. So, anyways, with
Um,
that, Lumbersnack
oh,
April is coming
the
to a
real
close.
people are on Storygraph. It's way lower rated on Storygraph.
Okay. Well, this was a this this was an adventure.
It was something.
I'm glad I drank wine the entire time.
Yeah, rub it in.
Wish I had been hammered while I read
Rub
it.
it in, rub it in.
No.
I just made
But we love
myself
you
depressed
guys.
because I can't
Yeah.
find the bra I want.
No. Well, listen, guys. Lumbersnack April has come to a close. Ariel's depressed because she can't find a bra that fits her giant titties.
Well, then that's not the right style. Because I'm gonna have to return the dress. Anyways.
And with that, this month comes to a close. And I was gonna say something else and I don't remember. All my
Solid.
thoughts have lost my brain because I lost too many brain cells. And I'm so, I am sorry but not sorry if we sound like we shit on some books, but like sometimes. That's the end of sentence. Sometimes. Um,
Sometimes.
so join us next month when we head into Hitman for May. And yeah,
Yeah. Make sure to keep reading.
and keep it smutty. What are you doing?
Measuring my boobs.
The next Morgan, what?
Captain Morgan.
The next morning, get your shit together. Come back. Where is she?
I got distracted.
After he broke, like after Brooke left, he wanted vengeance.